Hey, what's going on everyone, this is iReviews back with another video, and as expected, Apple has released iOS 17.1.1. This is of course a smaller update. It should come to your device at around 300 megabytes, of course always different based on different devices and based on which software you have currently installed on your device. It comes with a build number of 21B91. This is the build number for this update, and of course is a smaller update, which means that it doesn't have new features and changes, but it does have some really important fixes and improvements for your iOS 17 device. So in this video we're going to take a look at this update, and I will show you guys some really important things that I believe you should do on your iPhone once you have updated your device to the new iOS 17.1.1. Now first of all will be another update that Apple has actually released, which is the new watchOS 10.1.1. Now once you have updated your iPhone, make sure that you also update your Apple Watch. Of course you can do that through your iPhone, through the Watch app, or you can do it straight from the Apple Watch. And this update is really important because it will address an issue that could cause battery drain like really quick for a lot of users. This has actually been reported before, but now finally it has been fixed with this new update. So make sure once you update your iPhone, you do update your Apple Watch as well, because the battery life should now be way better if you had these problems with the watchOS before you updated. Now taking a look here at the update page of iOS 17.1.1, you can see that Apple has talked about two things: the wireless charging for the iPhone and the weather lock screen widget, which these have been fixed of course. They didn't mention the network at all, but that actually has been fixed with iOS 17.2 Beta 1, which has been released like a couple weeks ago. So I truly believe that Apple actually did also implement that fix on this update, even though they didn't talk about it. So if you have had any issues with your connectivity on your iPhone on iOS 17.1, like the Wi-Fi signal being really weak and dropping all the time, then this update should fix that for you. If you have already updated to iOS 17.1.1 and you didn't notice any change at all, any improvements on your network, then I would suggest you do two things. First of all, do a hard reboot on your iPhone. So it's volume up, volume down, and press and hold the side button until you see the shutdown screen, and then it goes black and it shows the Apple logo. That's the time you release the button and your iPhone will do a hard reset. Now another thing you can do, which is of course maybe more effective, but it will cause you to lose all the passwords of your Wi-Fi networks and of course all the configurations that you have for your cellular data. It is an option here by going into general and then going here to transfer or reset iPhone. You will actually have the reset button and you will have an option to reset the network settings. So if you had those problems with your network but they still haven't been fixed after updating to iOS 17.1.1, this is one of the things you can do. Just remember that this will erase all the passwords that you have saved for your Wi-Fi networks on your iPhone. Another problem that Apple has actually acknowledged but they didn't talk about on this update, but let's hope it has been fixed, is a problem with iPhones just shutting down randomly overnight. So if you have that problem, I would suggest that once you have updated your device to iOS 17.1.1, you take a look at the battery right here and see if you see any gaps here. So if your iPhone is turned off, you would see a gap right here, so you won't see the green lights, it will be only blank here. So make sure you just check your iPhone, check the battery settings, and see if you're having that problem after updating to the new iOS 17.1.1. Now of course, one thing you should always do after updating to a new software update to get better cellular network and of course better services with your carrier is to check for a carrier update. The way you do that is by going to settings, general, and then about here, and there you should see actually an update for your carrier. If it has one, it doesn't mean it will have one. For a lot of people it will, for a lot of other people there won't be an update every time they update their iOS software, but there might be an update, so make sure you go ahead and check that out as well. And of course, don't forget about your apps. If you don't have auto updates enabled for the App Store, make sure that you have your apps updated after you have updated your device. A lot of apps will push out updates once a new iOS has been released, so you want to make sure that you have the latest version of the app. That way you get, of course, the best new features, but you also get the best compatible app for your device, which means that the app will work better, will have, of course, less tension on your CPU and the battery as well. So make sure you always have all your apps up to date. If you just don't want to bother with this, you can of course always head on to your settings app and find the App Store here and make sure that you have app updates enabled right there under automatic downloads, which means that every time there's an update, the apps will automatically be updated to their latest version. Another thing you should know after updating to iOS 17.1.1 is that now you can wirelessly charge your iPhone 15 series on a BMW or a Supra, which is basically the same car, so you can now wirelessly charge them without having your NFC broken. So basically, with the new iOS 17.1, Apple has fixed that problem, and you can see it right here. Apple Pay and other NFC features might become unavailable on the iPhone 15 models after wirelessly charging in certain cars, which means that it basically is BMWs. All the users that have reported have experienced this problem. It was on BMWs, so finally that has been fixed because it has been around since iOS 17 has been released. Finally, they managed to fix it with the new iOS 17.1.1. So what's next in regards to new updates? Well, iOS 17.2 is currently on beta stages, and it has been on beta 1 for 2 weeks now. We're expecting a new update, beta 2, most likely today or even tomorrow. So that should be the next release for iOS. In the meantime, of course, until iOS 17.2 gets released to the public, which will most likely be somewhere here around mid-December before the holidays. It should be probably here on the 11th, maybe even the 18th, but the 11th or the 12th should be the dates where we get iOS 17.2 get released to the public. And meanwhile, of course, we will see a few more betas. Most likely after this week, Apple will move to a weekly schedule on releasing new betas for iOS 17.2, of course, until the RC version, which should be the first week of December, and then the second week of December, most likely the public release of iOS 17.2. In the meantime, we might get an iOS 17.1.2 update, even though that's very unlikely because of course Apple is focusing on iOS 17.2, which is quite a big update with a lot of new features and changes, but we might also get like a smaller update if they decide to push it and of course fix a few other problems on iOS 17. But in the meantime, we will have to wait for iOS 17.2 to get new features and changes on iOS 17. So that's basically it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. It helps out a lot. And of course, if you want to see more iOS 17 videos, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.